Hey everyone, it's Dr. Rick, founder of Herbal 411, and I did do a video on glycemic index just as an intro. Glycemic index is a measurement of how fast a food group gets put from stomach into bloodstream. The faster the food group, the more the insulin resistance, and that leads to diabetes. So in general, you want to pick a glycemic index low food and or a glycemic index low accumulation of foods on your plate, which would be the glycemic load. What I wanted to mention is some of my patients are on just the beginning part of the journey, so it's really difficult to figure out what to eat. So if you're used to having a grain in your meal, which is a balanced plate, there are certain grains that are highly processed, like Wonder Bread. I used to eat that. And I remember if you squeezed it too hard when you were bringing it home from 7-Eleven when you were a kid, 2 or 3 of the slices would be damaged because it compresses easily. And that usually means that the fiber has been taken out of the food group. So highly processed or ultra processed foods take away any of those things that will degrade the food in the short run, so that you get moldy, say with regards to bread, within a week. So if you've ever seen my pictures of the McDonald's bread that I had, it's a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. I've had it since 2013 and it's still alive. I'll try to insert a picture here. But the problem is some foods are very high in glycemic index and you wouldn't know it within the same group. So white bread, like Wonder Bread, high glycemic index. These two are pumpernickel. That's pumpernickel. You have to actually ask the bakery people to cut it up for you because they only make a few of these loaves. I got this for $3.49 at Jewel. And this is pre-cut, you can't really see it, pre-cut sourdough. And this one is very popular in my clinic. I buy this for folks and myself for the beginning of shifts so that we don't munch on stuff. Or we have a little bit of a snack in the beginning parts of the day so that you don't get hangry by the end of the day or middle of the day. So those of you who are on intermittent fasting, when you choose to go skip a breakfast, maybe skip a lunch because you're too busy, you might be in control of knocking down your calories per day. But honestly, if you get hangry, your brain will get twisted in a way that by the time you have your first meal of the day, you'll probably choose the worst thing, because the brain will go into starvation mode and it'll think, fight or flight, I got to eat something fast. And that piece of candy there is actually healthy for me because I'll rejuvenate my carbohydrate stores. It doesn't work that way. The bad choices are there when you don't plan. So good if you have a couple 5 minutes to stop by Jewel Osco, maybe choose these two things. If you are also an Asian person, we eat rice a lot. And I don't know if you could see that, but rice has always been an area of contention because in most Asian dishes, the meat part or the sauce part or the veggie part is blended with the rice so that the combination, meaning the glycemic load, will taste palatable. And it is very healthy. The Okinawan country, or the Okinawan folks, have the highest concentration of centenarians in Asia. So different different rice brands will have different value, and a high glycemic load or a high glycemic index is not preferable. If you can go anything low with your rice, that would be better. And basmati rice from India is low. Long grain rice is typically lower glycemic index than short grain rice. Unfortunately, I come from the Philippines and we're used to jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is high. So oftentimes when I have one of my colleagues or relatives trying to begin a nutrition change, getting into a different form of rice, even if you try millet, which is another form of grain, or any of the other whole grains, if you just use that instead of jasmine rice, that will lower your glycemic index, and in time it won't screw up the taste of the plate. Remember, the food group or the plate is dependent on the flavor of the food group that is there for the texture, flavor, and then the rice being mixed together. So in America, a lot of the plates that I see, the grain is just there for you to eat because your doctor said so, and that makes it a chore, and that's not sustainable. So it has to be tasting good, it must have palatability and mouthfeel, and it has to take the whole plate and make the plate fun and satiating. So that's the way glycemic index works. If you're Asian or used to rice, please consider checking out or trying different rice brands. Basmati is, if you can get the right brand, basmati is pretty decent, but it does change around the absorption of the sauce and what have you on the plate. So give it a try. If you're just a bread user, the sourdough and pumpernickel might be worth a try versus your Wonder bread. I remember when I was a kid, there were certain breads that you couldn't crush because they're so hard. Those are the healthy ones because they take longer to digest. Wonder bread, like I said, a little kid holding it on his way home, especially riding his bike or under the arm, that half of the loaf would be destroyed and then you'd be scolded. So yes, that was me. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, so please consider subscribing. If you have any questions or ideas about what you use for low glycemic index foods, please put them in the comment section down below. Otherwise, stay healthy, get out for the summer, and start making some changes. Thanks for watching.